of Ovaltine present Captain Midnight. Captain Midnight, brought to you every day, Monday through Friday at this same time, by the makers of Ovaltine. Captain Midnight is a new program to many of our listeners. It is written for red-blooded young Americans, for boys and girls, yes, and for mother and dad, too. For everyone who's young in spirit. Captain Midnight will bring you plenty of excitement, mystery, suspense, thrills galore. It lets you live a story of real adventure, in the air and on the ground. You'll never want to miss a single broadcast of Captain Midnight, and you'll want all your friends to enjoy it, too. So be sure and tell them to listen in every day. This program is brought to you by the makers of Ovaltine, the famous food drink that is a favorite with millions of Americans, young and old. Ovaltine is a favorite food drink for two reasons. First, because it's so downright good. You'll love its rich, satisfying flavor, so different from any other drink you ever tasted. And you'll never grow tired of it. Second, because Ovaltine is so good for you. It brings you loads and loads of valuable vitamins, minerals, and other vital food elements that help build strong, healthy bodies. Give you the pep and energy you need to be wide awake and husky. So tell Mother you'd like to start drinking Ovaltine every single day and to start listening to this swell new program. And now to Captain Midnight. We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world. But now, in order that you may understand the amazing events which are about to take place, we take you across the Atlantic Ocean to wartime France. The First World War had reached a moment of crisis. The Allied armies were in danger of terrible destruction. And then, at the moment of greatest peril, the courage of one man helped save them from surrender and lead them to final victory. We take you now to a small bomb-proof dugout somewhere in France, where the flickering light of a candle plays across the strained face of a lone officer, a general of the Allied armies. He's studying a military map. Outside, the night is black and cold. Suddenly, we hear, but listen. Come in. Major Steele?
Sir, everything is prepared.
You have found the man?
I have.
What's his name? No. It's better that I don't know.
I agree with you, sir. There are only two people in the world who know the mission to which he has been assigned.
You and our leader at Washington?
Yes, sir.
Major, do you think he has a chance?
I am afraid the odds against him are about 100 to 1.
If he fails, it will be terrible for us all. It will... But enough of that. Bring him in.
Yes, sir.
Wait. I don't want to see his face. Blow out the candle.
Yes, sir.
Now, bring him in.
Yes, sir. Will you come in, Captain? The man is before you, sir.
You have your instructions?
Yes, sir.
Then I want to talk to you. To be sure that you understand the risks you are taking.
I do.
If you fail tonight, it will be the end for all of us. If you are successful, our country will be saved from defeat. Do you understand?
I do.
Also, if you succeed tonight, you will have started a long and dangerous task, which, if you live, may require your lifetime to complete. Is that clear?
Yes, General. Very clear.
Above all, you understand that your ultimate purpose is the extermination of the most rascally and dangerous criminal in the world, a traitor to the United States, a fiend who has caused the slaughter of thousands of your countrymen. I am speaking of the one known as Ivan Charles.
I understand.
You are ready to go?
My plane stands outside the door.
Good. Henceforth, until you have accomplished your final task, you will not be known by your true name. What name you will be known by rests in the hands of fate. How long do you think it will be before we know the outcome of this night's venture?
Sir, if I've not returned by 12 o'clock, you will know I've failed.
You are a brave man, Captain. Now, Godspeed.
Thank you, sir.
so, into the night roars a plane piloted by a lone man upon whose shoulders rests the fate of his country. Hours later, he has not returned. The general of the Allied armies is waiting in his dugout with despairing hope.
What time is it, Major?
15 seconds to 12 o'clock.
Well, Major, I guess we're sunk.
It means disaster for us all.
It was too much to ask of a mere man. I should have known that...
Listen. Do you hear anything?
I do. It's a plane.
Listen to that.
We're saved.
Yes, and it's just 12 o'clock.
Yes, and to me, he shall always be Captain Midnight.
But that was 20 years ago. Slowly as time rolled by, strange stories were whispered about a shadowy plane, a mysterious pilot who, whenever trouble started in any part of the world, was certain to come diving furiously from the night sky. But the years have passed. We're no longer in France, but in the United States, in the gently rolling hill country of Virginia. Out among the hills of Virginia, there stands a solitary, lonely house. It's situated well back from the road. Trees and shrubbery form an effective screen. The house of gray stone gives the impression of having been recently remodeled. The house and grounds appear to be deserted. But suddenly, a car is heard approaching along the road. The car turns in the driveway, drives up to the front door and stops. The car door opens, closes. A man mounts the stone steps to the door. He's tall, muscular, and his lean, dark face is bronzed by wind and sun. His hand reaches for the bell, but before he can ring, the door opens, and a man's voice says,
Yes, sir. What can I do for you? I beg your pardon, but I may have lost my way. I came 2 miles west, 4 south, and then 8 miles west again.
That's most curious, sir. Do you realize you have cubed the numeral 2?
Numerals 2, 4, and 8 were considered lucky by the ancient Medes and Persians. And even in those days, a secret.
A secret even today. And, I might add, the way is long.
You're right. The way is long, but the reckoning is sure.
You haven't lost your way, sir. Come in. I'll take your hat.
Thanks.
Here are your instructions.
Shall I open them here?
If you please. We must be sure you know what to do. Are your instructions perfectly clear?
Absolutely.
You will follow me. Now then.
Very interesting. The wall in front of us. Part of it seems to be moving.
You will follow me through the opening.
Very clever. I would never have dreamed there was an entrance through that wall.
We hope no one else will either. Now then, I'll close the door. You will follow me down the stairs in front of us.
Indirect lighting, I see.
Yes. All lighting is indirect within the house. Now then, from here, you go on alone.
Well, I see nothing but concrete walls and a flagstone floor.
I know. I'll step on a certain flagstone near the wall.
Well, more surprises. A section of the floor is rising. Now I see a circular staircase.
Yes. You will descend the staircase according to your orders. After your head is below the floor, I'll close the opening. Goodbye and good luck.
Goodbye, and much obliged. Ah, there's a steel door. That must be the button that will open it. Well, I guess here's where I'm supposed to make myself comfortable. So I'll try out one of those easy chairs. I see the door's beginning to close again, and that hum indicates an air conditioning system. I wonder how long it will be.
While Captain Midnight waits in that secret room of the lonely stone house in the Virginia hills, a car turns into the estate's driveway, comes to a stop at the front door. 3 men step out from the rear seat. The driver closes the door behind them. 3 men hurry up the steps, 1 man in the lead, the other 2 following closely behind. The house door opens, and the first man enters, the other 2 remaining outside.
He is waiting for you below, sir.
Very good. SS-11. I'll go down to him at once.
Pardon, sir, but do you have your mask?
Yes, in my pocket. I don't think he will recognize me anyway, but I'd better wear it. I'll adjust it on the way down. Every precaution must be taken.
do.
Good afternoon. You are Captain Midnight?
I'm the one known by that name.
Yes. Your real name is Captain All Right. But please, do not remain standing. I will sit down also.
Thank you.
We have a great deal to discuss.
There are very few people indeed who know my real name.
I know all about you, Captain Midnight. I know that you and your ward, Chuck Ramsey, have just returned from a vacation in the Orient.
Chuck and I have been back less than a week.
Then perhaps you are not very well acquainted with the events of the past few months.
I have learned that there's been a vast increase in un-American activities that endanger our democracy.
More than you dream, Captain Midnight. More than the general public knows. Certain things have been kept quiet. Sabotage of airplane and munition factories has taken place. Various explanations have been offered, but I have come to the definite conclusion that a secret anti-American criminal organization has come into being that endangers the very existence of the United States and is directed by an evil genius such as the world has never known before. I am forming a secret squadron to combat this criminal force, and I wish you to command it.
Well, you do me a great honor indeed.
I have taken a long time to look the field over. You, I am sure, are the best equipped man in the United States for such a task.
Well, I'm flattered indeed, but if you'll pardon me, I don't know who you are. It's true, Major Steele sent me to you, and I have full confidence in him.
I know full well what is going on in your mind, Captain Midnight. If you take the post I offer, you must have absolute confidence in me. You must know who I am. I disguised myself before putting on this mask, and I don't believe you'll recognize me. But pardon me a moment while I turn my back to you. There. Now my mask is off. Do you know me?
Why, no. No, I don't.
Then read the name on this paper.
You. I never dreamed it would be you, mister.
Please, Captain Midnight, don't go any further. You must never mention my name.
Captain Midnight has had many a stunning surprise in his dangerous and exciting life, but never one like this. A breathtaking shock comes over him as he suddenly realizes the tremendous gravity of the situation. He can hardly wait for this vitally important conference to continue. What will be Captain Midnight's answer? Will he accept command of the secret squadron? Don't miss the exciting adventure tomorrow. Tune in, same time, same station, to Captain Midnight. Now, just a word about you. You who have just heard the opening episode in a new series of exciting adventures with Captain Midnight. If you like the way this program begins, keep on spreading the news to all the fellows and girls you know, will you? And don't forget to try Ovaltine this very night. It's not only a good tasting drink, but it's good for you, too. You see, Ovaltine brings you loads of wonderful vitamins and minerals and other food elements our bodies need if we're to fill out and grow up strong and husky. Nobody wants to be skinny looking and tired and worn out all the time. We all want to be regular fellows and girls, full of get up and go, always ready for adventure. And that's why thousands and thousands of smart fellows and girls are drinking Ovaltine every single day. Why don't you try some tonight? And then be sure to tune in tomorrow, same time, same station, for another stirring adventure with Captain Midnight. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, by the makers of Ovaltine. See you tomorrow, and until then, this is Pierre Andre, your Ovaltine announcer, saying goodbye and happy landing! This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Jack Armstrong, the All-American boy, is on the air, in person, to get you to eat Wheaties. Fellows, girls, hang on for thrills, excitement, adventure. Today, Wheaties bring you a story of champions in action. Cheers! Cheers for champions! As a huge crowd of American baseball fans roar a welcome to Max Carey and Leslie Mann and 18 boys of the Wheaties All-American Amateur Baseball Champions team. And now, Hang on for the big thrill I promised you. Here's Max Carey himself, in person, right in the studio with us today to tell us about the trip to Japan that won the Amateur Baseball Championship of the world. Fellows and girls, I'm proud to present Max Carey of the Amateur Baseball Congress.
Hello, everybody. I'm mighty glad to be here to talk to all my friends again. And I'm mighty glad to be able to tell you that the great Wheaties All-American Amateur Baseball Team, which you fellows and girls of the Jack Armstrong audience helped to select, has won the Amateur Baseball Championship of the world. First thing I want to do is to tell you something about our trip to Japan and the grand reception we received. We were met at Yokohama by the University League officials who put us aboard the electric car for Tokyo. At Tokyo, we were escorted to the Emperor's home. Then on into Emperor Meiji's shrine, where we joined a mile-long procession of seemingly millions of Japanese who came from all parts of Japan to pay their respects to the Emperor on his birthday. Then we went to the Imperial Hotel, which was to be our headquarters for our stay in Japan. We lost the first 2 games we played because it seemed like the boys hadn't regained their land legs after their sea voyage. Following that, we played against the Yokohama Commercial College, which team we defeated handily with a score of 9-0. Briganti, a pitcher from New York, pitched shutout ball. The boys were now rapidly regaining their condition, and the following day we played Waseda University, the largest university in Tokyo, with an enrollment of 15,000 students, and the champions of the University League of this year. Fred Herringer of Stanford University pitched the game for us and shut them out by a score of 7-0. The next game we played was against Jose University, and we lost this one by a score of 5-4. The boys out-hit the Japanese, but were very unfortunate in not scoring runs. The next game was played against the Tokyo Railways team, who had just defeated the Tokyo Giants, the professional champions of Japan, in a 2-game series. The All-Americans won this game by a score of 6-4, at one time leading by a score of 6-0. With the bases full in the 9th inning, our first baseman, Ted Wickland, pulled the old hidden ball trick on him to make the last out of the game. The following day, we defeated Keio University by a score of 5-4. And 5 days later, we played the Tokyo City champions, composed of former university star players. The Wheaties All-Americans defeated this club by a score of 6-0. Fred Herringer again pitched fine shutout ball. Tyrus Wagner, by the way, hit a homer with 2 men on in this game. Then, having won the Amateur Baseball Championship of the world, we boarded the good old Taiyu Maru at Yokohama, and we started back for the USA.
Thanks a lot, Max Carey. You were swell. And now, Jack Armstrong, the All-American boy. Yesterday, after the Pelican caught fire, Jack offered to take a line across the packed ice floes so that Captain Hands and his men might be rescued with a breeches buoy. Here we are on deck. Jack has just started across. Listen.
Get off there, Manning, with that blocking tackle. Look alive there, you men.
Watch it, lad. Go easy.
Yes, there's lots of time, Jack.
I'll get them. Just keep paying off the line. Sing out if you need help. I'll come after you.
We'll be watching you all the way, Jack. We can see you playing against the fire on the Pelican. If you get into trouble, we won't leave you out there.
Okay, but don't come unless I call. On.
Better not shout to him anymore. Let him give all his attention to what he's doing. He'll need to be on the alert every step of the way.
Aye, and I hate to see him go where I can't help him.
Seems to me he's going too fast.
That's all right. He's getting along swell at the start.
First ice flow is pretty solid. There'll be others far more treacherous.
And the worst of it is there'll be places where we can't see him. Those big hummocks will hide him more and more as he goes along. Oh, they will, and just when we're most anxious to see him.
I believe he'll pick his way so he'll keep in sight as much as he can.
I hope he doesn't try. He ought to pick the best way and forget everything else.
Aye, and we've still got the line to keep track of him by. If he stops pulling it out, we'll know something's happened.
Aren't you paying it out a bit too fast, Captain? It's coiling up down below us on the ice.
I wanted to. I aim to give him plenty of slack so as to put as little drag on him as possible.
If only it doesn't get tangled up in those big hummocks.
I don't see how it can, unless it's caught in a crack or something. The ice is so smooth it ought to slide easy all the way. I'll bet he hardly feels it.
He'll feel it before he's through. He'll be pulling quite a weight of it by the time he's clear across.
Aye, but it can't be helped.
Dear, maybe we should have used a lighter one.
This one's as light as we dared use, Betty. It has to be strong enough to pull 2 heavy ropes across when we get it there. Tackle, too, if the men on the Pelican need it. There'll be no time for pulling it back and forth.
They'll have their own tackle. No ship would be without it.
They have a fire on board, Captain. We can't tell what's been destroying.
Gee, it sure is blazing up now. The worst of it seems to be in the stern of the ship, though.
Use the glasses, Northrop. See what's up on board.
Yes, Captain. I'd forgotten them. I was so busy watching Jack.
He's still getting along swell.
Yes, but he's going behind the first big hummock now.
Well, we'll see him again when he gets a little beyond it.
You watch the Pelican, Northrop. Keep the glasses on her and tell us what the men are doing. You ought to see him plain the way the blaze is now. We'll keep track of Jack.
Very well. But if you'd prefer to use the glasses yourself, Captain...
I've got my job here paying out the rope.
Gosh, Jack's out of sight now.
He's still going along at the same rate, though. You can tell by the way the rope slides out.
Maybe the men on the Pelican can see him.
They ought to be now if they've had their own glasses on us.
But it's not as bright over here as it is there. They won't be able to see so well.
What can you make out, Northrop? Do they seem to be watching him?
No, I don't believe they've noticed him yet. They're still fighting the fire as best they can.
Then they don't know what we're trying to do. Is the fire much worse?
Yes, and it'll probably spread faster from now on. Some of the men are gathered way up in the bow. It must be getting plenty warm over there.
There's one man up on the bridge.
That'll be Hans himself, Betty.
Yeah, he's starting to wave his arms and shout. Some of the men are running to the rail. They're looking this way and pointing. They've seen Jack at last. Hans must have spotted him.
Good.
Oh, that's fine.
Good for him.
I'm so glad.
It's about time. Now watch close, Northrop. Hans will know what we're doing. You can soon tell whether they've got tackle or not.
He's shouting some kind of orders. The men are running from the bow. They're going to do something, all right.
It'll save a lot of time if they can get ready.
Aye, and they'll know it.
They've got tackle, all right. They're running to the forward mast to rig it up. Hans is helping.
Oh, look, they're sending up another red rocket. What can that mean?
It's most likely to let us know that they've seen Jack.
Or else it's to tell us that the fire's almost too hot for them.
I hope it doesn't make Jack feel he has to go faster.
I wish we could see him again.
He's not going as fast as he was at the start. The rope's paying out slower.
I feel sure he'll keep his head and be careful about all the way.
Yup, he won't forget what's at stake.
Yes, but what if those men have to leave the ship before he gets to them?
They don't aim to, or they wouldn't be working at the tackle.
They're getting it up. I can see it clearly now.
I hope Hans doesn't forget. I say!
Oh, racers!
Gosh, the rope stopped. Jack must be stuck.
It jerked first and then stopped.
Aye, 6 or 8 feet shot forward all of a sudden. It's not moving now.
Oh, what could have happened? Do you suppose he slipped and fell?
That wouldn't cause so much rope to jerk forward.
No, he pulled on it for some reason.
It may have been to tell us he was in trouble. I'd better start after him. Captain...
Not yet, Billy. He said he'd yell if he needed help.
Yes, and we could hear him if he did. He's not more than 50 or 60 yards out.
If we could only see him.
Train your glasses on a line with that hummock he went behind, Northrop. See if you can make out anything at all.
I can't, Captain. Not a thing. The rope winds around behind it and... But wait. It seems to be moving there. Yes, it is.
It jerked some more.
Yup, it did. 3 or 4 more feet shot out.
And there's Jack. He's moving over into full view.
Oh, he is. I can see him now.
So can I.
Sure enough.
He's looking back and waving. He moved out on purpose so we could catch sight of him.
Oh, what could be the matter? Has he reached a place we can't get past?
I say, he's shouting something.
That means I've got to go.
Wait.
But it's...
Quiet, Billy. Listen sharp, all of you.
Oh, what did he say?
He's got to make a jump.
Aye.
Great Scott. That must mean he's reached a stretch of open water.
Oh.
Yup, that's it. He's stepping back for a short run before he takes off.
But he'll slip. He's almost floated on that ice, and the rope will hold him back.
Not a great deal. He took care of that by jerking it forward. He wanted some slack at his feet so he wouldn't feel the pull of the whole length of it while he was jumping.
Aye, he's keeping his wits about him.
Oh, he's getting ready to run.
Can you see the open water, Northrop?
Yes, a thin black strip. I can't tell how wide it is from this angle, though. At a rough guess, I'd say it's 8 or 10 feet, possibly more.
How can he make it from a slippery takeoff?
I'll bet he picked a spot where there's rough ice at the edge.
But even so...
There he goes.
Oh, if he slips at the edge.
He didn't. He made a clean jump. But I say...
Oh, he went down. I can't see him.
Gosh, he fell, didn't he?
Yes.
Did he go under? Did he fall back in the water?
If he did, I'll...
No, he slipped as he landed on the other side. He fell flat and slid forward.
That may have knocked him out. Is he moving?
Yes, he's getting up. He's on his feet again. He's all right. He's going
Oh,
on.
my, what a relief. Gracious, I hope he doesn't have to do that again.
He's more than halfway across, anyhow.
Aye, and the rope's paying out steady now. I'm hoping the worst is over.
You've seen the wisdom of letting him make the attempt, Captain. I doubt if any of your crew could have made that jump safely.
You're right, Northrop. Neither you nor I could have done it. But get your glasses back on the Pelican again. See what's going on.
Most of the men are crowding back to the rail to watch Jack. They've done about all they can to make ready for the breaches, boy. Captain Hans is back on the bridge with his glasses trained on Jack. They've about given up trying to fight the fire.
They will as well. If Jack reaches them safely, we'll have all of them off in half an hour.
Captain Campbell, sir.
Aye, McGregor. How are the men coming?
We finished, sir. The breeches buoy is ready for the hawser and the ropes to be started across.
Good. Bring them here, then, so we'll have them ready.
I've got them, sir. I'll fasten them to the end of this light line if you want.
Go ahead and tell the men to stand by on deck.
They will. I couldn't get them to go below if I tried. They're too anxious to watch the lad making his way across the ice. I gave him permission to line up along the rail, if you don't mind.
Of course I don't mind. It's a thing worth watching, and I wouldn't begrudge it to anyone.
He's out of sight again.
And say, the line's not going out as smoothly as it was. It slides out fast for a few seconds and then stops.
He's feeling the drag of it, that's why. He's holding on it with his hands to ease the pull at his waist.
He must be getting dreadfully tired. Oh, I do wish we could keep him in sight.
The farther away he gets, the easier the men on the Pelican can see him. And they're watching every move he makes.
There he is. I can see him again. But isn't something wrong? I can't make him out clearly anymore, but he seems to be bobbing up and down.
Yeah. And the rope stopped moving.
Get your glasses on him, Northrop.
Oh, what is it? I believe he's waving again.
No, he's not. He's got his arms out to keep his balance. I know what's happened. He's going across a thin sheet of ice that's loose from the rest. It's giving a little under his weight.
Oh, my.
Gee, will he make it, do you think? Yes, it's holding him. If he doesn't have another gap to jump across, he'll be all right.
Watch him close.
I will. He's steady again now. I believe he stepped over onto firm ice. Yes, he has.
Yup. There goes a strong pull on the line.
That was one of those treacherous places I was worried about.
Oh, my, it's one thing after another.
The worst is over, Mrs. Northrop. I think you needn't worry now.
But he still has quite a ways to go.
Only 20 yards or so.
Aye, if anything happens to him now, the men on the Pelican will go to his rescue.
I don't believe he'll have any more trouble. The ice looks firm and unbroken the rest of the way.
Good.
Gee, then we'll soon have the breeches boy working.
That we will.
But say, I've never seen a breeches boy in action. But won't the cable give? I mean, the men will drag along the ice part of the way.
That won't matter. We'll not pull them fast enough to hurt them any.
Jack's nearly there. The men are waving and shouting to him. Captain Hands is coming down from the bridge to join them at the rail.
And there goes another red rocket.
I suppose they're setting it off to let us know Jack's nearly with them. Gee, don't they think we're paying any attention to him?
I don't believe that's what the rocket means, Billy.
Then what are they for?
To warn us that the fire is spreading dangerously fast. To let us know we'll have to work the breeches boy fast when we get it started.
McGregor, have you got that cable fast to the line?
Hey, Captain. I've greased the knot, too, so she'll slide easy if she hits the rough spot.
Jack ought to be the first one to come across.
I don't believe he will. He'll figure he can come back across the ice if he has to.
He's nearly there. He's nearly there.
Yes, by Jove. There's no question but what he'll make it now.
And he's going as strong as ever. Look at the pull on that line.
Boy, I knew he could do it.
He's almost at the Pelican side. The men are reaching down to pull him up. Captain Hands is pushing them aside to be the first one to grab him.
Hands knows courage when he sees it, b'gorry.
He's got him. Jack's made it. Hands is lifting him up on deck.
Good for him.
Boy, oh, boy!
Good for the lad. Men, give him a cheer. The lad's won his way across to the rescue. Let her ring out so he can hear it.
Quick, over with the cables, McGregor. They're pulling the line taut.
Over she goes, Captain. Stand by, men!
There goes another red rocket. They want us to hurry. The time may be far shorter than we think.
So Jack reaches the Pelican safely at last. But will there be time to rescue Captain Hands and the crew? Be sure to listen in at the same time tomorrow evening to find out what happens next. Fellows, girls, ask your mother for Wheaties right now. Tell her Wheaties are the whole wheat cereal that actually supplies the same amount of heat-producing units you need for body warmth these cold winter days as a hot cereal does. Eat Wheaties tomorrow morning and all winter long if you like. Fix that famous breakfast of Champion's Way with plenty of milk or cream, sugar, and some bananas. You'll say, just like Jack Armstrong says, Wheaties and bananas are a great combination. And just one more thing. When your mother gets Wheaties, call her attention to the famous seal of acceptance of the Committee on Foods of the American Medical Association. That seal is mighty important to your mother, for it tells her Wheaties are pure and truthfully advertised. By the way, many grocers are featuring specials on Wheaties and bananas this month. Ask your mother to get some bananas when she buys Wheaties for you. Eat Wheaties and sliced bananas for breakfast some morning soon. You'll say it's a marvelous combination. This is David Owen saying goodbye for Jack Armstrong and the makers of Wheaties.
They're whole wheat with all of the bran. Won't you try Wheaties? For wheat is the best food of man. They're crispy, they're crunchy the whole year through. Jack Armstrong never tires of them, and neither will you. So just buy Wheaties, the best breakfast food in the land.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Buck Rogers is back on the air. Buck and Wilma and all their fascinating friends and mysterious enemies in the super-scientific 25th century. This program is brought to you by the makers of Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle, those delicious frozen confections on a stick. Now I have a swell surprise for you. The famous winner of the typical American boy contest has now become Popsicle Pete. And here's a message from him.
Hello, everybody. I sure am glad to meet you. And boy, am I glad I was picked to be the typical American boy. Because now I'm Popsicle Pete. I always wanted to be on the radio. Now I have a chance to tell you about some wonderful presents you can get free. Gee, you ought to see them. Hundreds of them. You get them just for saving bags from nifty Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle. some gifts, even better than Christmas. You can get a wristwatch, a movie camera, table tennis, a wallet, a doll. Gee, lots of gifts. Just save the bags from Popsicle, Creamsicle, and Fudgicle on a handy stick. Boy, do they taste good.
Wholesome, too, and nourishing. Made fresh every day of the finest ingredients. The biggest 5 cents worth anywhere.
And say, kids, get the free illustrated Popsicle gift list at your ice cream store. A free coupon comes with it, worth 10 bags.
And now for Buck Rogers and his thrilling adventures 500 years in the future. As you probably know, Buck was born right here in our own times, in this 20th century. And the story of how he got started on his amazing adventures so far in the future is mighty interesting. But instead of telling you about it, let's turn the dial that'll project us ahead in time and find out all about it that way. Now, the capital of 25th century America is Niagara. And there it is that Dr. Hewer, the great scientist, has his marvelous laboratory. In one room of it, he's working on a strange-looking device that sends a peculiar greenish light down onto a human figure lying on a table before him. Shall we join him there? Okay, then, here we go. 500 years into the future.
Ray is putting you to sleep. To sleep. Relax and sleep. 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 Good. The ray's had its effect. Now I can go ahead. Yes, come in. Oh, hello, Wilma.
Hello, Dr. Hewer. My, why don't you have more light in here? Coming in from outside, I can hardly see a thing in this spooky greenish glow.
Part of a little experiment I'm conducting.
Oh.
But tell me, have you seen anything of Black Barney here in Niagara?
Why, no. Hasn't given up his job of Prime Minister on Mars, has he?
Oh, no. But one of his Martian rocket ship factories has worked out a new control device for me. I rather hoped he'd get here with it today.
Oh.
Meantime, I've made ready for a final test of this little invention here. Like to stay and see it?
Oh, I'd love to, Doctor, and you know it, but I just dropped in to find out if you'd seen any sign... Oh.
What's the matter?
Doctor, what's happened to him?
Eh?
Is he all right? Doctor!
I see.
What's happened to him? Why is he lying here on this table?
Don't worry, Wilma.
Don't worry. Doctor, what are you...
He has offered to be the subject of my test, that's all.
But then, why is he...
simply lying here, comfortably asleep, under the influence of my electro-hypnotic ray.
Oh, I was afraid something had happened to him.
Not a thing. Surely you don't think for a minute that I'd do anything
No, of course not. But the electro-hypnotic ray... Are you sure this experiment won't hurt him in any way?
Oh, absolutely sure.
Well, you can't blame me for being a little shocked for a minute. But what's that thing up near his head that looks like a miniature power plant with a loudspeaker on top of it?
That, Wilma, is my latest scientific achievement. My newly perfected electro-hypno-mentalophone.
Your what?
Well, you remember the mentaloscope, don't you?
Sure. When you put a person under the mentaloscope, all his memories showed up on a sort of moving picture screen.
That's right. And this is an adaptation of it.
Oh.
With this, the electro-hypno-mentalophone, the memories of the subject will come to us verbally, through the loudspeaker here. Provided, of course, that my calculations have been correct.
Sort of read a person's mind aloud, you mean?
Yes, that's it exactly.
Where do you ever get ideas for things like this, Dr. Hewer? Surely people don't just barge in and ask you to work them out.
Hardly. The scientific research and experimentation that led up to the development of this machine was started way back in the 20th century.
Why, I always thought that the people back in the 20th century weren't much better than savages in what they knew about scientific things.
Oh, not at all, Wilma. Oh, we owe a great deal to the scientists of those days. Were it not for the groundwork laid by men like Einstein, Fitzgerald, Compton, Millikan, and the rest, we'd be without a great many of the things we have today.
They never really got anywhere with rocket ship development or anything like that, though, did they?
Well, successful rocket flight depends on two things that have been brought into existence only recently.
One of them must be a neutron.
Yes, a neutron. The material that defies gravity and makes it possible to lift a big spaceship off the Earth and away from its terrific gravitational pull without too much waste of power.
And what's the other?
Impervium. The only metal capable of withstanding the high temperature of rocket blast for any length of time.
Oh.
But now, let's go ahead with this experiment.
Yes, let's. And you can tell me how this apparatus works as we go along, just what it does to him.
Well, not very much to tell you about the apparatus itself, Wilma, except that here, in this little pad under his head, is an extremely sensitive and high-frequency response piezoelectric oscillator of quite complicated design.
Yes, I guess so.
Yes. And I've succeeded in tuning it to receive the minute electronic impulses that emanate from his brain
Yeah.
through the medium of a superradiating protonoformer.
Oh, yes, Oh, what?
In other words, we're able to obtain sufficient amplification of the impulse output to register audibly through a process of thermionic note magnification. That's all there is to it.
I think I'll understand it better when I see this thing work.
I shall be very much disappointed if it doesn't.
Oh, don't you worry about that, Doctor. Your inventions always work.
I have been rather lucky in most of my experiments, haven't I?
Lucky.
Well, now let's proceed with this one.
All right. Anything I can do to help?
No, thanks. Now, first of all, we'll have to switch in the electronoformer.
Gives the electronoformer a sort of eerie sound.
Yes. And now, when I switch on this microphone and speak to him, my words will be registered directly on his brain. Not through his ears, you understand, but directly on his brain.
Uh-huh.
And if we're successful, we'll receive his subconscious response through the loudspeaker.
Go ahead, Doctor.
Now, young man, what is your name? I said, what is your name?
Buck Rogers.
Wilma, it works.
But, Doctor...
My invention's a success.
But, Doctor, what happened?
It works even better than I thought it would.
He didn't move his lips, though. And how could we hear him talk if he didn't move his lips?
It read his mind aloud, Wilma. It read his mind aloud.
Sounded like his real voice, though.
Well, of course, because he thinks of speech in the same manner that he utters it.
Great day, it doesn't seem possible. Ask him some more questions.
Yes, by all means. Listen. Buck, you were born back in the 20th century, were you not?
Yes, sir. But this is the 25th century.
Do you see, Wilma? His memory's preserved intact.
May I ask him a question?
Surely, go ahead. Go ahead.
Buck, how did you happen to come to the 25th century?
One day in the year 1919, I was in the lower workings of an abandoned mine near the city of Pittsburgh.
Yes?
All of a sudden, the supports that held up the walls and ceiling gave way and the whole thing caved in on me.
Yes?
Some kind of peculiar gas was released. It put me to sleep. It kept me in a state of suspended animation for 500 years. Then the ground shifted and let in fresh air, and I woke up.
Well, how did you know you were in suspended animation for 500 years?
Instead of the year 1919, it was the year 24-something. To be exact, it was 24...
How did you know what year it was?
I was told about it by Lieutenant Wilma Deering, a beautiful girl soldier I met when I first came.
Oh, then you knew Wilma Deering.
Oh, I certainly do. She's the finest and bravest girl who ever lived.
Yeah.
Why, Wilma...
Buck Rogers?
Yes?
Did you find anything new and different when you first came into the 25th century?
Oh, a great deal, thanks to Dr. Hewer.
Dr. Hewer?
The greatest scientist who ever lived.
What's this?
Nowhere in the universe is there a scientist who's done so much good for humanity, or done anything that can even begin to
wait.
compare with.
Wait a minute, Buck.
Yes?
Just forget Dr. Hewer and go on with what you were saying.
But he's the man who invented the first rocket ship that took us to the moon. And it was that trip that proved the practicability of interplanetary flight.
Practicability of interplanetary flight? Nothing wrong with this machine, Doctor.
Where else have you gone by rocket ship, Buck?
First to Mars, where we helped King Analdo put down an invasion by the Martian Tiger Men.
Yes?
Then to Saturn and the Saturnian moons, Venus, Jupiter, and even far-off Pluto.
Which planet did you find most interesting?
Well, that's hard to say. Jupiter has the biggest field for exploration simply because it's so much larger than the rest of the planets.
Very true. Do you expect to do any more rocketing around through outer space?
Well, there's nothing else I'd rather do, sir.
Well, Wilma, do you like my little contraption?
Oh, it's wonderful, Doctor. I told you it would work.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to ask, Buck, before I turn off this green ray?
Let's wake him up and see if he remembers anything that happened during the experiment.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. Come on, Buck. Wake up.
Huh?
I say, wake up. You've been asleep.
Sleep?
Uh-huh.
Oh, hello, Wilma.
Hello.
Hey, where'd you come from? What are you doing here?
I've just been let in on the test of Dr. Hewer's
Electro-hypno-mentalophone.
Yeah.
Oh, and doggone it. Instead of helping you with your test, I fell asleep. Say, I'm awfully sorry, Doctor.
Sorry?
Oh, yes, sir. I was going to
But,
help
Buck,
you.
I put you to sleep with this machine.
Oh, really?
That's right.
Oh, I guess that's one on me, then. How'd it work?
Even better than I expected.
Oh, good.
Oh, it was marvelous, Buck. You told us your whole life history without even opening your mouth.
Hey, now, wait a minute.
It's all right, Buck. You didn't say a single thing you shouldn't have.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Let's put Wilma under it.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, you have to do something for excitement around here. Come on, Wilma.
Oh, you're never satisfied unless there's something exciting going on, are you, Buck?
Well, it's not as bad as all that, Doctor, but things have been sort of slow around here lately, and...
Wait until we start making tests of the new type of gyrocosmic relativator I've just devised.
A new one?
Isn't that the equipment on a rocket ship that makes it possible to take off without much loss of time for pickup?
That's right. And without the usual physical effects of too quick acceleration. It removes from your ship the normal effects of weight and inertia and momentum and the like.
Well, how have you improved the relativator, Doctor?
Buck, if this new instrument does what I hope it will, there'll be practically no limit to the speed of a rocket ship immediately upon taking off.
Good night. Imagine getting into the control cabin, opening the power lever, and going a couple of 1,000 miles an hour just like that.
That's exactly what we'll be able to do, Wilma.
Boy, that hardly seems possible, does it? But when can we test it out, Doctor? Have you already got it installed on a rocket ship?
No, Buck. As a matter of fact, I don't even have it yet.
Huh?
Oh, it's been made up all right. The one we'll use for the test, but it isn't right here yet.
I don't understand, Doctor.
Well, yes, sir. Can't we get it here? The sooner we can get it and start trying it out, the sooner we can break the monotony of just sitting around here doing...
Wait, Buck. Listen.
Yes, Doctor. I hear it, too.
Well, yeah.
Hear it?
Yes, sir. But what under the sun is it?
Look here, out of the window.
Look, heavens, Wilma! And it's coming right down this way. Wilma!
Oh!
Say, Buck's wish for excitement certainly came true in a hurry. Great day. I wonder what that was. And I certainly hope he and Wilma and Dr. Hewer are all right. What do you say, Pete?
Well, I know what would make me feel all right. A great big frozen fudgicle. Jiminy, can you imagine anything better than that fresh, creamy chocolate fudge frozen ice cold on a stick?
Fellas and girls, what's the best, purest, biggest nickel's worth you can get? Right, a fudgicle. Delicious and full of healthful energy. Made only from pure milk products. Swell to eat and easy to digest. And don't forget to save the bags for those wonderful free prizes. Exciting gifts like cameras, dolls, sweatshirts, gorgeous jewelry, and lots of other things.
Now listen, kids. Be sure to get your free popsicle gift list at your ice cream store. Don't take no for an answer.
And now, Dick Tracy.
This is Dick Tracy on the case of the broken window. Stand by for action. Let's go, man. Yes, it's Dick Tracy, protector of law and order. Boys and girls, aside from the actual trees destroyed in forest fires, can you think of what else is destroyed? Well, fires destroy the life-giving qualities in the soil besides killing the seeds that would ordinarily grow into more trees. They kill the wildlife that's part of every forest, the birds, animals like deer, squirrels, rabbits, chipmunks, and many, many others. Think of this. If there were nothing but forests in the states of Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Vermont, and all those forests were destroyed, there wouldn't be as much as was destroyed by fire in just the year 1943.
No country, not even the United States, can afford to lose that much lumber. And 70% of the fires were caused by human carelessness. Now, here's what you can do to help prevent fires when you're out in the woods. After using a match, blow it out, break it in two, pinch the burnt end until you're sure it's dead. You can be certain the match will be harmless because you won't care to pinch a burnt end while it's still hot. And make sure you put out any fire you might build before you leave it. In this way, you'll do your part in conserving our forests. And now, Dick Tracy. Yesterday, Dick and Pat nearly caught up with the youthful jewel robbers, Spider and Mickey. But the boys suspected a trap and escaped with about 3 minutes to spare. As a matter of fact, the squad car carrying Dick and Pat whizzed by them on the street on its way to the room the boys had just left. Well, as the story closed yesterday, the boys were planning to buy new clothes and get haircuts before looking for work. And now today, in the rooming house, Dick and Pat have just finished a routine check. Dick called.
Pat, come over here a minute. I want to show you something.
I saw you monkeying around this window. Wondered if you hadn't found something. What do you got?
Take a look at this window pane.
Slight chip broken out of the corner. Hey, wait a minute. What's this smudge?
Here's your glass.
That's not a fingerprint, and yet... Well, I'll be doggone. A nose print.
That's exactly right, Pat.
Oh, you can see what happened, yes. Either one or the other of these two boys poked his head too near the window. Maybe to see the boats or something. And
That's it, Pat. And I want that pane of glass.
And I'll take the putty out with my knife.
Good.
Putty, concrete mixer. Maybe cement, I don't know. Okay, it's loose.
Here. Insert the corner of your knife. There, that's it. I got it. I'll put it here on the table so I can wrap it carefully.
Watch it now. Don't trip with it. Yep, here you are, Dick. This ought to do.
Thanks, Pat. There. Another scrap of evidence that'll help convict those boys.
If we ever catch up to them.
We will. You've forgotten that tri-state alarm still stands. We've got to wait until they make the wrong move.
Yeah, they've been making wrong moves right along. As far as I'm concerned, every move they seem to make, why, just another lucky one. Why, we've been within a couple of minutes of those kids at least twice now.
That's right, Pat, but their luck can't hold.
Well, what do we do now?
We'll make a round of the pawn shops and see if we can find any of the loot. We'll spend the whole day at it. Unless I'm completely wrong, we'll come home with something.
I hope so.
Now let's turn our attention to Spider and Mickey, who are walking along the waterfront, headed for the industrial plant where they had seen the help wanted sign. Listen.
Well, how do I look in these new clothes?
Oh, gee, swell, Spider. How about me?
Great. Having a shirt and a necktie on makes us look dressed up.
Yeah, and these short haircuts we got made us both look a little different.
We don't have to worry too much about how we look. Why, even if the cops have our description, it'll be like 10,000 other guys of our age.
And you still think we ought to go to work?
Oh, sure. That's the way to beat this heat. Besides, we'll earn enough dough to keep us going until we can spot another job. Let's cross the street.
Yep, there's the plant. Yeah, and the sign's still in the window.
Let's go, Mickey. And remember, we're from out of town. We're orphans and we're hard workers. Got it?
Yeah, I got it, but you better do the talking. You're better at it than I am.
Yeah. Well, here it goes.
Yes, boys? Looking for something?
We wanted to see whoever put that sign in the window.
I'm the man. Do you mean to tell me you two are looking for work?
Yeah, that's it. You see, mister, we need the money.
And so do I. Rather small for the job. You see, boys, I really wanted a man
But
to...
you can hire the both of us. Between the two of us, we could do a man's work.
Really want work, don't you?
Oh, yes, sir.
Live here in town?
No, sir. We're from upstate.
Family?
No, sir.
I thought not. Well, I don't know.
We'd work hard, mister.
Yes, I think you would. But you better let me tell you about the job and the pay. Now, you see, I'm a manufacturer. Our product is placed in cases and cartons for shipment. These cases are pretty heavy. 40 pounds each.
Yeah, we could lift them. 40 pounds ain't so much.
Sold. I'm going to give you a chance. Well, now, I suppose you'd like to know how much you're going to earn, wouldn't you?
Well, gee, mister, the pay's not everything. What we want to do is show you we can do the work. That we really want the job.
Good for you. The starting salary is $17.50 a week. And if you boys prove to be satisfactory, you won't regret it. I'll give you each a raise as soon as I think you deserve it. Now, when do you want to start?
Well, gee, right away. We need the money.
Well, then go in and sign up with the bookkeeper, and then come back to me. Tell him I said he was to take you both on. You'll find him in the room behind that door. Now, hurry, boys, as I need help right away.
Come on, grab the end of this case. Yep, gotta go up on a top rope, right?
Oh, gee. This is a tough way to make a living.
Yeah, well, it won't be for long. Just keep plugging away.
Oh, gee, Spider, I see nothing but carton after carton, thousands of them. Oh, gosh, what a way to earn a living. Boy, that's enough for one day.
Yeah, you said it. My back's almost busted. Phew.
Well, boys, how did it go? Feeling pretty tired?
Oh, no, mister. No, that was nothing at all.
It's like I said, me and Frankie can handle 40 pounds easy.
Well, I had my doubts, but you boys have proved yourselves. That's a day's work you've done. Now, tell me the truth. Have either of you any money?
Well,
I thought so. You're both broke. Now, here's an advance of $2 apiece. That'll keep you going for a day or so. Stop in on the bookkeeper tomorrow and get another advance of $10 each.
Oh, gee, thanks, mister.
That's swelly.
I told you if you proved yourselves, you wouldn't regret it. I've been watching you today. You've worked hard and well. And if you continue, you'll find that I'm a pretty good man to work for. You see, I like boys, and particularly boys that show a willingness to work. Well, now, on your way, and I'll see you at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Good night.
Yeah, good night. Come on, Mickey.
Hey, Spider, where are we going to stay tonight?
I saw a rooming house right down the street. We can get a room there. It's right close to the factory, and we can walk it in 3 minutes. 8 to 5 and break your back.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make it pay. Come on, Mickey. We got to get some rest or we're dropping our tracks.
For the next 3 days, both Mickey and Spider worked long, hard hours under the watchful eye of the owner, who seemed completely pleased with their work. And during this time, Dick and Pat combed the city for traces of the two boys. Receiving no answer from his tri-state alarm, Dick began to believe the boys had left town. However, events are shaping up that will change Dick's mind.
Mickey! Mickey, come here.
Coming.
Oh, here, Mickey. Here's a job for you. Take this check and this money to the bank on the corner. Just give it to the third teller on the left. He'll know what to do. I've just talked to him on the telephone.
Yes, sir. I'll be right back.
Boys, here, please.
Did you want the both of us?
Yes, both you, Frankie, and Mickey. It's almost quitting time. Here's your first paycheck. You'll find I didn't deduct any of the advances you got earlier during the week. Take your time about paying me back.
Oh, gee, that's what of you, sir.
Oh, thanks very much.
Well, had you better open your envelopes?
Oh, yeah. 10, 13, 17, 20.
Hey, I
Yeah,
got $20 in mine, too.
Now, that's the raise I promised you if you did a good job.
Well, I'll be doggone.
Oh, there she blows. You're free men until Monday. Now, don't spend all the money in one place and be on time.
Oh, yeah, we sure will. Let's go, Mickey. We got to pay our room rent. Then we can go to a show or something. What a sap. What a dope.
Yeah, but just think, Spider, he did what he said.
Yeah, sure he did what he said. He hands us $250 extra when if he hired a man, it would have cost him twice as much. A wise guy, that's what he is.
Yeah, maybe you're right at that.
Sure I'm right. And you know, Mickey, I've been thinking. When we took this job, it was to give us time to find another quick take.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we found it.
I don't get it, Spider.
He sent you to the bank, didn't he?
Yeah?
Well?
Yeah, I am a dope at that.
You sure are. How much was in that envelope that you took to the bank?
Gee, I don't know.
You are a dope. Why didn't you look?
I never thought to.
Well, look the next time and then come tell me before you go to the bank. You got it?
Yeah, I sure have. Gee, Spidey, you're smart. I never would have thought of that myself, at least not as soon as you did. Well, let's get cleaned up and go out and spend some of this hard-earned dough of ours.
In a moment, we'll return to Dick Tracy. But first, whether you take your golfing thrills out on the fairways or in the sports pages of your favorite newspaper, you won't want to miss the excitement of the final round of the U.S. Amateur Golf Championship Tournament tomorrow afternoon. The Cavalcade of Sports will broadcast this outstanding golfing event over most of these ABC stations. In addition to colorful descriptions of the tournament's crucial shots, Harry Wismer and golf expert Harry Nash will bring you a resume of the scores and the highlights of earlier rounds, plus interviews with famous golfers. Tomorrow, the 64 golfers who qualified for match play will finish up. They'll be the cream of the original group of 900 golfers selected by sectional qualifying rounds. Automatically qualified for the tournament proper were former winners of American and British amateur titles, including William Ternesa, Charlie Yates, Richard Chapman, and Marvin Bud Ward. These players, the cream of America's amateur golfing talent, will be fighting it out all the way to post the lowest scores, and every stroke counts. So be sure to hear the Cavalcade of Sports broadcast of the 1946 Amateur Golf Championship tomorrow afternoon on the air over most of these ABC stations. Check your local newspapers for the exact time. Now, back to Dick Tracy.
Repeating tri-state alarm. Refer to Bulletin 1176.
Snap it off, Pat.
Are you hearing that bulletin, Dick?
Yes, Pat, and I'm going to do something about it. Let's go.
What is Dick going to do? You'll know Monday, so tune in, same time, same station, for The Adventures of Dick Tracy, directed by Frank Shin. This is George Gunn speaking. Any top detective lives a life of danger. He must be on the alert at all times because tough characters know that the best way of keeping out of his clutches is to get him first. Well, Tracy fans, I guess you know that goes double for Dick Tracy because he's the very top. That's one of the reasons you can be sure The Adventures of Dick Tracy will keep you on the edge of your seat. Dick Tracy is on the air Monday through Friday over more than 100 radio stations throughout the country. Listen to another chapter of Dick Tracy's Tangles with the Underworld Monday at this same time over the same station. Tune in on Dick Tracy on the Case of the Broken Window. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.